Shana Tova. After such a beautiful celebration with dancing and joy and singing and apple pie, if I'm being real with you, this is not the sermon that I hoped to give, but it's the one that I think I need to give in light of the circumstances. So let's just get it out there and name the elephant in the shul. That's like the only joke in the whole sermon, so I need yeah, that's a little better. I mean, I need one. A synagogue should be a place of trust, ethics, and higher standards. That is certainly what we aspire to achieve. But as our members here all know, we recently discovered a deceitful pattern of financial indiscretion by a long-standing and senior member of our professional staff. When this news became public, there was an outpouring of love, support, and generosity that was and still very much is appreciated. The parlor meetings that we've hosted have given us an invaluable opportunity to hear you. And more than anything, this is what I've heard. To have money stolen from our Jewish home, a place where we try to build connection to one another and ultimately to God, that is a trespass of enormous proportions. And that is certainly true. Today is not the time to dwell on what transpired, but instead this morning, I want to suggest a Torah-inspired roadmap. 3 steps for a Rosh Hashanah recovery and renewal for our community. And then towards the end of the sermon, I want to throw a bit of a curveball, suggesting another application for this process. For the first step, I want to begin by talking about surviving the Holocaust. The cruel circumstances that claimed the lives of the 6 million were beyond their control. But if you weren't killed by an Einsatzgruppen bullet, or you weren't dragged off of a train and sent to a gas chamber, how are some able to survive the hell of the concentration camps? This is the question that Austrian psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl confronts in his classic Man's Search for Meaning. According to Frankl, even in a place like Auschwitz, where the most basic of human freedoms were stripped away, survival was only possible by holding on to the last human freedom, one's attitude. Give in to despair and death was a certainty. However, if a prisoner was able to retain the choice to see meaning in life, it was possible to survive. In other words, according to Frankl, the key to surviving the Holocaust was to hold on to hope. Holding on to hope. The idea is actually built into the way we observe Rosh Hashanah. As many of you know, the Jewish calendar is largely lunar dependent. So if you want to know where we are in a given month, look up to the moon and you can tell. With that in mind, you might think it makes most sense to celebrate the beginning of a new month and certainly the beginning of a new year with a full moon. A full moon fills the evening sky and illuminates the richness of our lives. But tonight, I want you to go out and take a look at the moon. Because when you look into the sky, you're not going to see a full moon. Instead, you're going to see the tiniest sliver of a newly emergent moon. Here's a suggestion why this is so. Celebrating under a sky filled with light may be beautiful, but sanctifying new light in a sky of darkness demonstrates hope. Despite the darkness and hatred we've experienced for centuries, we have lived with this optical optimism guiding our outlook on life. Like Viktor Frankl, despite the darkness, making a blessing over the light distinguishes us as a people that holds on to hope. Hatikva. This morning, I want to call upon us, the members of this community, to look at our synagogue through the same lens. Yes, we have experienced darkness. Yes, it is significant. But the darkness does not monopolize the evening sky. Here at Adat Ariel, there are many sources of light that give us good reason to hope. Our ECC is once again growing. Our JLC and all of our youth programs are bustling and filled with kids. Our membership numbers are stable. We are financially solvent. Our programs are well attended. And our staff now is better than ever. These are all great sources of light. And our greatest source of light, what I believe distinguishes us as a community, is that no matter who you are, how you dress, how you vote, or how big your contributions may be, Adat Ariel embraces everyone. Anchored by tradition and challenged to grow by modernity, we live that holy struggle together with kindness, care, laughter, and a full embrace of everyone who comes on our campus. And while the blot of darkness that we experienced can't be minimized, it does not obscure the blessing of our light. This Rosh Hashanah at Adat Ariel, as the crescent moon emerges in the evening sky, let's begin the year by blessing the light. Step one for Rosh Hashanah renewal. Despite the darkness, bless the light. For the second step, I want to take a look at an obscure and archaic ritual introduced in the book of Deuteronomy involving a broken-necked or beheaded heifer, the Eglah Arufah. The Torah teaches that if a corpse of a murder victim is discovered in the fields and no details of what transpired are known, the elders of the closest village are summoned, and in a public ceremony, the village elders must take a heifer to a stony ravine, break its neck, and declare the need for communal accountability. The killing of the heifer is meant to be jarring. The brutal ceremony demands the attention of the community. The late great Talmudic scholar Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz notes that the ritual is replete with symbolism. The heifer is killed in a stony ravine where nothing grows. The heifer has never produced offspring, and as a result of this ritual, never will. And the manner in which the heifer is killed even renders its meat unfit for eating. By completely wasting the life of the heifer, the leaders of the village acknowledged the tragic demise of the murder victim. While the murder was a result of one or a small group of perpetrators, a place where murder could occur without anyone taking notice, seeing, or caring enough to intervene indicates a general societal brokenness that simply cannot be ignored. The ritual of the Eglah Arufah demands accountability and refuses to allow the shards of societal brokenness to be swept under the rug. We at Adat Ariel are in an Eglah Arufah moment. Like the biblical beheading of the heifer, the jarring reality of what happened to us compels us to take accountability. Of course, we should be grateful that a dedicated team of volunteers worked for hundreds of hours to uncover the deceit. And now that the crime has been discovered, it is time for our own beheaded heifer, our own Eglah Arufah. Strengthened by the blessing of our light, we must stand together openly acknowledging that while we were victimized, our systems and safeguards were not sufficiently sophisticated. There should have been more oversight, more advanced systems, and greater supervision. We did not do enough to protect the integrity of our synagogue. We failed you. And I believe today is our Eglah Arufah moment, the chance for us to assume accountability. Step number 2 for our Rosh Hashanah recovery and renewal: behead a heifer. To explain the third step, I need to share that as the situation around this crime was intensifying, I was going back and forth to Las Vegas, as I knew my mother was dying. When the board voted to file a police report and inform the community about the crime, I had just buried my mother several days earlier and was still in Las Vegas sitting Shiva. As many of you know, when Jews are in mourning, some wear a torn ribbon, others tear a shirt and wear the same torn shirt throughout the 7 days. The morning we intended on sending the letter to the community, instead of saying Kaddish with my father and my sister, I hopped on a plane and came directly from the airport to Adat, all the while still wearing my torn Kriya shirt. As our email announcing this crime went out, my shirt took on new meaning for me, becoming symbolic of the tear emerging in our community. I'm bringing this up because I think the custom of Kriya, of tearing a ribbon or a garment as a symbol of loss, can be instructive for us as a community. Over the years, I have helped hundreds of people tear a ribbon or shirt when they lost a loved one. And my favorite way of framing the ritual comes from a teaching of the Kutzker Rebbe, who taught, there is nothing as whole as a broken heart. After tearing the fabric with a bereaved family, I often share this teaching with the hope that the loss opens a spiritual space for growth and learning, and helps the one experiencing the loss to understand that the pain of the moment is not the end. The brokenness of today can create opportunities for growth tomorrow. Like my torn Kriya shirt, the tear in this community is real. And like the Kutzker taught, our brokenness can create opportunities for growth. Already many changes have been made to the way that we conduct our business here at the synagogue. And this awful experience continues to present an opportunity for us to carefully evaluate how we operate. We need to do better. The pain of our brokenness presents opportunities for our growth. Just the other night, our synagogue board unanimously approved the formation of a synagogue-wide task force to make evaluations and recommendations in areas of operations and governance. You'll be hearing about ways to get involved over the next several months. We have a lot of work ahead, but today we begin inspired by the knowledge that the pain of the present opens the space for growth for the future. Step number 3, like a Kriya shirt, wear our tear, because there is nothing as whole as a broken heart. Now that I'm almost at the end of the sermon, this is where I want to throw that curveball that I mentioned earlier. Because this sermon is not just about how one community can recover from being victimized. The truth is that as much as this sermon is about us as a community, it's also for us as individuals looking to Rosh Hashanah as a time of our own personal recovery and renewal. Step number 1, bless the light. We have each lived long enough to know that life is hard. We all face challenges, maintaining our health, caring for our families, advancing in our careers, balancing our finances, and finding meaningful connections with others, all the while experiencing an often overwhelming and increasingly sad world. We all know what it's like to stand in darkness. It's sometimes a challenge to live the lesson of Viktor Frankl and find meaning. Sometimes it's hard to hold on to hope. But as we approach a new year, we are encouraged to summon the strength to push aside the dark challenges hovering over us long enough to allow the light of life to shine through. On this Rosh Hashanah, as the first glimmer of light emanates from the moon, let's look up to the sky, and despite the darkness that each of us feel, with optical optimism, let's bless the light. Step number 1, despite the darkness, bless the light. Step number 2, behead a heifer. The liturgy of the high holidays asks us to be as personally vulnerable and revealing as the village leader standing over the sacrificed Eglah Arufah. Tucked into the spaces between the seats in this synagogue are secrets and overlooked truths. What have we been avoiding? What can we finally start acknowledging and taking accountability for? What in our lives compels the ritual of the Eglah Arufah, the beheaded heifer? In the dystopian classic 1984, George Orwell famously wrote, "If you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself." The high holidays are our time to come out of the shadows, to fully own up, to bravely confront ourselves, and share with all of those that deserve to know. Step number 2, behead a heifer. Step number 3, beneath the shiny veneer of our high holiday suits and dresses, the reality of our lives is closer to a torn Kriya shirt from Shiva. Broken relationships with loved ones, broken belief in ourselves, broken careers, broken belief in the world around us, broken hearts, broken dreams, and of course, broken parts of our aging bodies. The pain from our brokenness is real. And like the Kutzker taught, there is nothing as whole as a broken heart. Because while our pain may never fully recede, our relationship may never be fixed, our career may never advance, our faith in the world may never be restored, and our bodies may never fully heal. Nevertheless, the pain of today opens opportunity for growth tomorrow. Lessons from a broken relationship can help strengthen the foundations of a future connection. Professional setbacks can help us grow and eventually open new doors. Skepticism about the world around us can inspire us to become local agents of change. And our broken bodies can help sensitize our souls. Real wholeness is when we utilize the holes in our lives to create holiness. Step number 3 in our recovery: wear our tear, because there is nothing as whole as a broken heart. As the illuminated waxing crescent moon emerges in the evening sky, we are ready to move beyond a difficult year, communally and individually. This Rosh Hashanah, we can begin to heal, restore, and make holy. Despite the darkness, like Viktor Frankl, let's hold on to hope. With optical optimism, let us bravely look up and out for the many manifestations of light. May the warm blessing of this light give us the strength to behead a heifer, confronting hard-to-face truths while taking accountability and responsibility. And then finally, wearing the tears of brokenness like a torn Kriya shirt, we can affirm that the brokenness of today presents room for growth for tomorrow, because there is nothing as whole as a broken heart. Shana Tova.